Hi everyone, welcome back to my class. This is Rumana Ali. I hope you all are doing well. In today's class, we are going to start a new chapter, and the name of our chapter is Neural Control and Coordination. Firstly, I'll explain you the meaning of the term coordination. So coordination means the organs, the simultaneous action of the organs which are present in our body. For example, if a dog runs at you, then you will try to escape from the dog, right? So the different changes can be seen in your body. The different changes like your heartbeat increases, your blood pressure gets increases, certain hormone start releasing into your body. So all these are the different things, that different changes that can be observed in your body. Now, the proper definition of the coordination is the simultaneous change that can be seen in your body in any given situation. Okay, so the coordination is the simultaneous change that can be seen in any given situation. Here we have taken an example of a dog that is running at you, that runs at you. So if the dog runs and barks at you, you will try to escape. You will also run. At the time, certain changes can be observed in your body, like heartbeat get increases, blood pressure get increases, certain hormone gets releases, and some other changes can also be happened into your body. So all these changes that are occurring simultaneously in your body in any situation, at that time, due to that changes, the different systems of our body, they coordinate and they work together. So coordination means whenever any changes happen in our body, at that time the different system of our body becomes activate and they coordinate with each other. They work together in order to sort out these changes. So this is about the word coordination. And here the simultaneous changes that can be seen into the different organs of our body. These changes allows the different organs of our body to adapt that situation. That is called as coordination. If the different organs of our body are trying to adapt the given situation by showing certain changes, then that is called as coordination. Let us move to the next topic, that is nervous system. In this chapter we are going to discuss about the nervous system. Whenever we heard the term nervous system, then definitely a word neuron comes into our mind, because neurons or the nerve cells are the main structural and functional units of our nervous system, right? So neurons, not only neurons, there are some other cells that are also found in our nervous system. So generally we studied that neural tissues shows the presence of nerve cells. Not only the nerve cells, not only the neurons are present in our nervous system are present as the neural tissue. There are some other cells that are also found and that also forms our neural tissues. So neural tissues shows the presence of neurons as well as some other cells. The different cells collectively it can be termed as neuroglia. We can take an example of Schwann cells, astrocytes, oligodendrocytes, microglial cells. So besides neuron, there are so many other cells that are found in our nervous system, and we call that cells as neuroglia. Now let us study the structure of nerve cell, that is our neuron. Neuron can also be termed as nerve cell. So we are going to see the structure of nerve cell now. This is the structure of a neuron. When you see the structure, then it shows the presence of a cell body. This part is called as cell body. This can also be termed as cyton. Okay, so cell body can also be named as cyton. In the cell body of a neuron, In the center, you can find the presence of a nucleus. So we'll write here the nucleus. Some thin branches-like structures are arising from the cell body, right? These branch-like structures are called as dendrites. These are very, very important. This is an important part of a neuron. Now, besides this, the cell body is going to extend into a long tube, and this long tube is called as axon. Now, the axon shows the presence of Schwann cells. In this way, the Schwann cells are present over the axon, and these Schwann cells forms a sheath, and we call these sheath as myelin sheath. So in this way, myelin sheath is present, that is composed of Schwann cells over the axon. Now, in between these Schwann cells, in between the myelin sheath, some gap is present, and we call this gap or nodes as nodes of Ranvier. Okay, axon is present. Over the axon, Schwann cells forms a sheath. We call that sheath as myelin sheath. In between the myelin sheath, some gaps are present, and we call that gaps as nodes of Ranvier. Now, Schwann cells contain cytoplasm in it, right? The cytoplasm of the Schwann cells are present over the myelin sheath like this. The cytoplasm of the Schwann cells covers the axon, and this cytoplasm of the Schwann cells is termed as neurolemma. Now, this axon further classified into branches, and that ends of the axon are called as axon terminals. This axon terminals build some knob-like structure at its end, and these knob-like structures are called as synaptic knobs. In the synaptic knobs, certain substances are present like this, and the substances which are found in the synaptic knobs, we call this as synaptic vesicles. Now look at the structure of neuron. It is composed of three main parts. One is cell body, the other one is dendrites, and the third main part is axon. Cell body extended into a long tube, and we call this long tube as axon. This long tube further classified into branches, and we call that branches as axon terminals. At the end of the axon terminal, some knob-like structures are present. We call that as synaptic knobs, and inside the synaptic knobs, synaptic vesicles are present. Now, when you see the structure of the cell body of a neuron, here in the center of the cell body, you can find the presence of nucleus. Along with the nucleus, some small granules are present in the cytoplasm of the nerve cell, and these small granules which are found in the cell body, we call these granules as Nissel's granules. When you see the structure of the axon is a long tube, and this long tube is covered by some specialized cells called Schwann cells. The Schwann cells forms a myelin sheath. In between the myelin sheath, some nodes are present, and we call that nodes as nodes of Ranvier. And here, over the myelin sheath, the cytoplasm of the Schwann cells comes and wrap the axon. We call that cytoplasm of the Schwann cells as neurolemma. Now, this is the structure of one neuron cell. One nerve cell, that is one neuron. One more nerve cell is present over here. So, the dendrites are responsible to take the signals from the outside. First, the signal is received by the dendrite, then it is sent into the axon. From the axon, it enters into the synaptic knobs. When the signal enters into the synaptic knobs, at that time certain chemicals are present in the synaptic knobs, and we call that as synaptic vesicles, which can be released out of the neuron due to the electrical signal. the signal which is received by the dendrites, that is an electrical signal. So when this electrical signal reaches the synaptic knobs, at the time it stimulates the release of the chemicals. The chemicals which are released from the neuron, we call these chemicals as neurotransmitter. Neurotransmitters are released due to the electrical signal. Now one more neuron is present over here. The dendrites of the neuron are found, which are responsible to take the signals. The gap which is present in between the two neurons or two nerve cells, that gap is called as synapse. Now the electrical signal from one nerve cell, it can be enter into the another nerve cell, but before it enters into the another nerve cell, in between you can find the chemical signals. As the neurotransmitters are getting released from the neuron, we call that signal as chemical signal. So firstly, electrical signal is received, and here the synapse, the gap which is present in between the two neurons, we call this as synapse. In this region you can find the other signals, that is chemical signals, which occurs due to the release of neurotransmitter. Then again in the neuron, electrical signal can be seen. The another neuron can receive the electrical signal from the first neuron. This is how the electrical signals and the chemical signals can be seen in our nervous system. Let us study about the other topic, that is types of neurons. Based on its structure, the neurons are classified into four major types, and they are, the first one is unipolar neuron, the second one is bipolar neuron, third one is pseudo-unipolar, and the fourth one is our multipolar neuron. When we see the structure of unipolar neuron, then it shows the cell body and it shows only one extension, either dendrite or axon. It will not show both the parts. Axon and dendrites will not be produced in the unipolar type of neuron. Only one extension you can find in the type unipolar neuron. The next one is bipolar neuron. Bi means two. So it will show the two axons like this. Two axons will be present in the bipolar neuron. It will look like a wrapped chocolate. Bipolar neuron, and this type of bipolar neuron is usually found in our retina, that is found in our eyes. So in the retina of our eye you can find the presence of bipolar neuron. The next one is pseudo-unipolar. Here also one extension you can see, it looks like a unipolar, but not exactly like a unipolar, because it also shows one more extension, that is a false extension. So based on this structure, we call the neuron as pseudo-unipolar neuron. It will look like a unipolar, but actually it is not a unipolar neuron, as it shows one more extension which is a false extension. So based on its structure, we can call this type of neuron as pseudo-unipolar neuron. The next one is multipolar neuron, which we have already studied. Multipolar neuron shows the cell body, dendrites are also present, axon is also found, axon terminal, synaptic knobs, all these structures that we have studied just before, all those parts can be found in the multipolar neuron. So this is how the different types of neurons are present. Based on its structure, we name this by the different names, like unipolar neuron, only one extension can be seen. Bipolar neuron, two axons are found. Pseudo-unipolar, it will show a one false extension, and multipolar neuron shows the presence of both dendrites and axon in its structure. Let us study about nervous system. Whenever we heard the term nervous system, we know that the main organ of the nervous system is our brain, and we have seen the structure of brain. This is the cerebrum. Here middle brain is present, midbrain, and here you can find a pons and one extension, that is and the last part, that is medulla oblongata, and here you will see the presence of cerebellum. These are the different parts that you can see in our brain. Medulla oblongata shows the extension, and that extension is called as spinal cord, and the spinal cord is protected by a column that is made up of small bones. That column is called as vertebral column. This is our brain. So nervous system usually show the presence of brain and spinal cord. Nervous system is classified into two main types, and they are central nervous system. In short, we can write it as CNS, and the other one is peripheral nervous system. This we can write it as PNS. So nervous system is classified, it is divided into two main types, central nervous system and peripheral nervous system. Central nervous system comprises of two main parts, and that are brain and spinal cord. So brain and spinal cord together forms our central nervous system. Brain and spinal cord, both these parts are present at the center of our body, so we can call this as central nervous system. Now, the different nerves are arising from the brain as well as from the spinal cord, and these nerves are present throughout of our body, and that nerves forms our peripheral nervous system. So all the nerves which are originating from the brain as well as from the spinal cord, that nerves forms the other system that is called as peripheral nervous system. Now we need to understand one basic thing here, and that is, this is our brain which is located in the center. If you touch any hot object, then the sensory neurons will go and inform, will send the signals to the brain. Now the brain analyzes that information and it gives commands to the other neurons which are called as motor neurons. So motor neurons take the command from the brain and they will give that command to the muscle tissues. So when the motor neuron give instruction to the muscle cells, then we can remove our hand. So once we touch the hot object, sensory neurons goes to the brain, and that information is analyzed by the brain. Once the information gets analyzed, once the motor neuron gets sent by the brain, then that motor neuron reaches our muscle cells and allow us to remove the hand from that hot object. This is how the two types of neurons plays an important role in sending and receiving messages. Now, peripheral nervous system means the nerves which are originating from the brain, we call that nerves as cranial nerves, and the nerves which are originating from the spinal cord, that nerves are termed as spinal nerves. So motor, sensory neurons and motor neurons, both of these neurons are present as cranial nerves and also as spinal nerves. Now I told you that neurons are of two types, sensory neurons and motor neurons. So here they form the peripheral nervous system. We'll write here sensory nerves and here motor nerves. Sensory nerve is again classified into two main types. One is specialized sensory nerves, specialized senses we can say, and the other one is general senses. Specialized senses can be sensed only by the special organs of our body. For example, if you want to see anything, then you can do so with the help of your eyes only. The other parts won't help you to see the different objects except your eyes. If you want to hear anything, then your ears helps you to listen any voice or any sound. And if you want to taste any food item, then your tongue helps you to identify the taste of the different food items. So in this way, special organs are found in our body that helps in the specialized senses. So to see anything, to hear, to taste are specialized senses. Specialized sensory nerves can help us to send the message to the central nervous system. When the message is received by the central nervous system, then only we can be able to show all these specialized senses. We can able to sense all these specialized things by our specialized organs. Next one is general sense. For example, if you touch your hand, you can feel it. If any part of your hand gets burned, you can feel it, right? So sensing heat, cold or touch, these are all general senses. These can also be achieved by the sensory neurons. With the help of sensory nerve cells, we can perform specialized senses as well as general senses. Let us move to the other type of nerves, that is motor neurons. We know the function of motor neurons. Motor neurons bring the commands from the brain, and that command is given to the muscle cells. So we know that in our body different types of muscle cells are present. Some of them are voluntary in function and some of them are involuntary in function. So voluntary, when the motor neuron gives the command to the voluntary muscles, so motor neurons are the neurons that can give the command to the voluntary muscles as well as to the smooth muscles. Smooth muscles are involuntary in function. The motor neurons which gives the information to the voluntary muscles, that forms one another nervous system, and we name this type of nervous system as somatic nervous system. And the motor neurons which give signal to those smooth muscle cells in order to contract or relax, this can also be called by another name, that is autonomic nervous system. So basically, based on the function of the motor neurons, the nervous system is of peripheral nervous system is classified into two main types again, that is somatic nervous system and autonomic nervous system. When the command is given to the voluntary muscles, that forms our somatic nervous system, and the motor neurons, when it gives command or instruction to our smooth muscle cells, then it forms the other nervous system, that is autonomic nervous system. This autonomic nervous system is again classified into two main types based on the action. If we show the normal, if the smooth muscle cells, if they show the normal functioning, then that is called as parasympathetic nervous system. But sometimes if we get angry or if we get scared, at the time when the motor neurons send the signals to the smooth muscle cells, they form another nervous system, and that is called as sympathetic nervous system. Sympathetic nervous system can also be termed as flight or flight. The signals which are sent in the fight or flight situation, that forms our sympathetic nervous system. Now the division of nervous system. We know that nervous system is classified into two main types, central nervous system and peripheral nervous system. Central nervous system shows the presence of brain and spinal cord. The function of the central nervous system is just to analyze the information. Now the nerves which are originating from the brain, we call that nerves as cranial nerves, and the nerves which are originating from the spinal cord, we call that nerves as spinal nerves. Cranial nerves and spinal nerves, both of them that are present throughout of our body, forms peripheral nervous system. Some of the neurons are sensory neurons in the peripheral nervous system, and some of them are motor neurons. The function of the sensory neurons is to sense the information, and the function of the motor neuron is to give the signals from the brain to the muscle cells. Okay. Now sensory neurons are classified into two main types again based on its function. They are special sense and general sense. The sensory neurons which helps us to sense the special things, that are called as special sensory neurons, and the sensory neurons which helps us to analyze the general things like touch, heat and cold. If we sense these kind of general things, then these are called as general senses. Now motor neurons, they can give the instructions to both, to the voluntary muscles as well as to the smooth muscles. If they are going to give the instructions to the voluntary muscles, they form one nervous system, that is called as somatic nervous system. And motor neurons, if they are going to give the message or the signals to the smooth muscles, then that forms another nervous system that is called as autonomic nervous system. Based on the signals sent to either voluntary or to the involuntary muscles, they are classified into two main types, somatic nervous system and autonomic nervous system. Now, in the autonomic nervous system, we can see again two other nervous systems. When the motor neuron sent any instruction to the smooth muscle cells for our digestion or for the process of breathing, then the normal processes are going to happen by the signals sent to the smooth muscles. That normal condition, normal functioning of the smooth muscles forms parasympathetic nervous system. But in some situations, if we get angry or if we get scared, that situation is called as fight or flight situation. The neuron which send the signals to the smooth muscles in order to show fight or flight response, that forms another nervous system. We call that as sympathetic nervous system. Central nervous system, peripheral nervous system. Peripheral nervous system shows two types of neurons, sensory neurons, motor neurons. Motor neurons shows the two main systems, somatic nervous system, autonomic nervous system. This autonomic nervous system is further classified into two main types, parasympathetic and sympathetic, based on the response of our muscle cells. So this is about the division of nervous system. I hope it's clear to you. That's all for today. Meet you next class. Goodbye.